Good Friday morning, everyone. Welcome into today's daily Bible reading for December the 30th. Today we are reading together in the short text of Ecclesiastes chapter 10. This section of Ecclesiastes is going to focus on the teacher's instruction and advice concerning investments, and then focusing his attention then on the youths, those who are younger, and giving them advice on how to go about living life in their youth. That begins here in chapter 11, but goes into chapter 12 as well. We'll hit the first couple of points of what he says to the youths in chapter 11 today, and then conclude that tomorrow as we finish up our read for 2022, going through the prophets of the Old Testament, the New Testament, and then the wisdom literature as well. And on Sunday, again, we'll be getting into the historical books of the Old Testament. We'll be reading together from Genesis through Esther. I'll have that scheduled for you to hand out on Sunday, but no, for Sunday, we're going to be in Genesis chapter 1. Again, thanks for tuning in today. Let me go and get the text up on the screen for us. That way we can read together here from from Ecclesiastes, not Genesis yet, Ecclesiastes chapter 11. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, beginning in verse number 1, send your bread on the surface of the water. For after many days you may find it. Give a portion to 7 or even to 8, for you don't know what disaster may happen on the earth. If the clouds are full, they will pour out rain on the earth. Whether a tree falls to the south or to the north, the place where the tree falls, there it will lie. One who catches the wind will not sow, and the one who watches the wind will not sow, and the one who looks at the clouds will not reap. Just as you don't know the path of the wind, or how bones develop in the womb of a pregnant woman, so also you don't know the work of God who makes everything. In the morning sow your seed, and at evening do not let your hand rest, because you don't know which will succeed, whether one or the other, or if both of them will be equally good. Light is sweet, and it is pleasing for the eyes to see the sun. Indeed, if someone lives many years, let him rejoice in them all, and let him remember the days of darkness, since they will be many. All that comes is futile, or all that comes is hevel. Rejoice, young person, while you are young, and let your heart be glad in the days of your youth, and walk in the ways of the heart and in the desire of your eyes. But know that for all of these things God will bring you to judgment. Remove sorrow from your heart and put away pain from your flesh, because youth and the prime of life are fleeting. Once again, youth and the prime of life are hevel. They are temporary or passing away. Thinking about this text, again, up here at the beginning, first few verses about invest in life. I would modify that just a little bit to say soundly invest in life, soundly invest in good things. Solomon, certainly, many believe him to be the writer of Ecclesiastes. He was one who was well known, it seems, for his business practices, sending out grain and bread to many different places, investing in a number of different places. That's one of the things we see here. Probably it's good to diversify our investments in the various ways we might do so in our lives, because we don't know what's going to happen. And it's not, I'd say majority of people probably recognize it being sound business practice to not put all your eggs in one basket, so to say, because you don't know what might happen to that basket. All those eggs might be destroyed, and then you're left not having invested in anything else. What's happened in the past as far as our investments, that's happened. It's like that tree that falls. It just lies there. It's done. It's not going to be stood back up again. But the clouds represent the present and the future. They might continue they will continue to move, and you don't know exactly how that is going to go. But you do know this. You do know that the one who watches the wind will not sow, and the one who looks at the clouds will not reap. You do know that if you don't ever invest, if you don't ever sow, then you will never reap. You will never benefit, because you've not put in that time and effort. And let me just say real fast again that there's some disagreement on the interpretation of this text. Some people see this purely as investment. Some people see this as taking care of charity and investing in people who are needy. Both of those, I think, could be appropriate applications here as well. But verse number 5, again, you just don't know the future. You don't know the future. You don't know how things are going to work out. You don't know the path of the wind. Not able to see the bones of a baby develop in the womb. You just don't know that. So therefore, again, invest, and do so hopefully but don't act as if you know exactly how it's going to work out. Verse 6, in the morning sow your seed, and at evening continue sow your seed. Don't let that rest. Why? Because you don't know which one of those is going to work out again. So there is an element here of uncertainty in the way we go about our lives. There's just nothing that we have any sort of guarantee upon apart from our own behavior. Once we put something out there, it's out there, and something may work, something may not work. We just don't know. Therefore, we need to invest in those things that we have most confidence in. But again, recognizing that things happen sometimes, and the only thing we can control is ourselves. Going on to verse number 7, light is sweet and it is pleasing for the eyes to see the sun. Indeed, someone lives many years. If you're going to live many years, rejoice in those many years. If God blesses you at that time, be thankful for that time and use that time wisely. Use that time wisely. Rejoice in them all, but remember as well, it's one of the reasons we can appreciate so much the good times is because we remember the bad times. We remember how bad things can be. Therefore, it causes us to be more thankful for the good days. But remember, all this is futile. It is a vapor. It is fleeting. It is temporary. It is here and then gone. But for the young people, then transition to the young people, beginning of verse 9 and going verse 10 and then into chapter 12. There are some things that the young people are told to do. There is three R's for young folks. 2 of those are here in chapter 11. Number 1 is to rejoice. Rejoice. Let your heart be glad. Walk in the ways of your heart and in the desires of your eyes. Pursue things that bring joy to you. Pursue things that bring gladness to you. But that's not just a blanket statement to go pursue anything that brings you joy and gladness, because there are many things that the flesh desires that are simply not good. Therefore, it is tempered with the end of verse number 9, but know that for all of these things, God will bring you to judgment. So make sure that whatever brings you joy and gladness, make sure those are things that God approves of. Make sure those are things that bring true joy and gladness. And that certainly is found in being pleasing to God and being rewarded in the end. So keep that in mind. Yes, pursue joy, pursue gladness, but do so according to the will of God. That's the first R. Then the second R is to remove sorrow, to put away pain from your flesh. Don't focus on those difficult things of youth, but instead recognize that youth is the prime of life. Therefore, rejoice in that time. Remove the pain and remove the sorrow, remove the difficulties. Don't focus on those things. Why? Because they're fleeting. I mean, every single one of us that has any sort of age at all remembers the days of our youth. Some of us may still think ourselves to be youthful, yet our minds might be in the youthful stage, but our bodies might remind us that we've moved on beyond that stage. But so many of us would just love to go back and to relive what we might consider the glory days, when we didn't have any responsibilities, whenever we were at our peak, and yet they're gone. They're gone. So all we can do is look back at those things. They're like the tree that has fallen. It's not getting back up. But for those who might still be in their youth, let's encourage them. Let's encourage them to enjoy those things, but to seek to enjoy them according to the will of God, to not focus on the difficulties and the struggles of youth, but to recognize that one day they're going to be gone and you wish you can have them back to take advantage of the days of youth. That is the wisdom given to us here by the teacher. And really that ties in well with what we talked about investing. When we are in our youth, it's good for us to invest in good things, invest in things that are going to matter, invest in things that are going to have long-term benefits for us. If we'll do that, then we have a much better chance of really enjoying life, staying away from sorrow, and then it'll help us to accomplish the third R that we're going to see tomorrow, of remembering our Creator. We're going to talk about that tomorrow to conclude our read for 2022 through, again, the prophets, the New Testament, and now the wisdom literature. It's been a great read for me. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed either familiarizing myself or refamiliarizing myself with these many parts of Scripture, and I hope that you can say that you have benefited as well. Hope you have a great rest of your Friday, everyone. We'll be reading again tomorrow to close out 2022 in Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Hope you can tune in then. Take care, and God bless.